welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna watch Shoe0nHead's new video titled The War on Normal Guys. From what I know, I think she's gonna mention like one YouTuber throughout this VTuber throughout this video, and I don't know anything about him, so going into it blindly, let's check it out.
Wendigoon is a horror conspiracy theorist YouTuber with several million subscribers. Has a dark past with deep ties to far-right extremism. Wendigoon is very publicly friends with Turkey Tom. He is friends with Mutahar. He is publicly friends with Shoe0nHead, who is a conservative masquerading as a leftist.
A few days ago, I saw this video pop up in my YouTube feed. Bad conservative horror movies. And I was immediately intrigued. I love long video essays about stupid shit like this. But what I got instead was the worst attempt at a hit piece I have ever seen on YouTube ever. So sit down and get comfy, because it's time for an old-fashioned video response.
No way, video response, but I didn't watch the original. I hope that's okay. YouTuber's biggest cry.
Now before we get into this video, I just want to thank today's sponsor, you. This video is sponsored by all of you who donate to me on patreon.com. Thank you all very much. I made you some cookies. These are just for the people who support me on Patreon. Only they get a cookie.
So I can't have it, dang it.
Not you. I see you, freeloader. No. Anyway, I've been pretty busy lately doing personal life things, but when this went down, I was like, I can't not respond to this.
Sometimes you just gotta just defend your name and clear things up if people are just sharing lies, if that's what has been happening for her.
By the time I was done with the script, the man had already deleted the video after it was downvoted to hell.
No way, so I can't watch it anyway.
But even though the video is gone, I still want to respond to it for 3 reasons. 1, I am directly involved in this. 2, I'm tired of these type of people running their mouths. And 3, this topic is pretty timeless. And that topic is what I like to call the war on normal guys. Last year I wrote a script for a video with this title, and it was about the YouTuber Wendigoon being cancelled on Twitter. For those of you who don't know, Wendigoon is a popular YouTuber.
I don't know him, but they're matching shirts today.
Who makes video about true crime, horror, and cryptids. And no, despite popular belief, Wendigoon has nothing to do with gooning. Wendigoon is what most YouTubers who don't make political videos should be. His channel is completely apolitical. I don't like clicking a video about iCarly and then having to listen to you about how much you hate Trump, or clicking a video about Fallout and hearing you go off about how Joe Biden sucks. I don't care. If I wanted to hear milquetoast political opinions, I would watch my own videos. But no, despite being non-political, Wendigoon is a great channel. He has a good community, he's very positive, he's a Sunday school teacher, he has a beautiful wife, he's friendly, funny, and kind. Which
so why is he getting hated on so much?
Of course, makes him an enemy to the most annoying people on earth. Month after month after month, I would see threads on Twitter and on Reddit about what a terrible person Wendigoon was. But when I would go searching for reasons why, there was really nothing besides vibes.
No way.
I simply do not like Wendigoon. He has bad vibes coming off him like stinky lines. The vibes on this guy have never been right. I live in the Bible Belt. He has the vibes of the kids who would have been comfortable saying racist and homophobic slurs and
So they don't have proof of him saying racist and homophobic slurs, but he has the vibe of someone who would, so they hate on him as if he is a racist and homophobic. Are you kidding me? What? Okay.
Bullied me in grade school. He always gave me weird vibes. Deeply uncomfortable vibes from this guy. I initially unfollowed him because I started getting weird vibes from him. There are evil energies surrounding this man. Wait, what?
I mean, vibe check is important, but you can't attack someone based off of the vibe. The vibe can give you the feeling of okay, maybe I don't really involve myself, or maybe I don't open up to this person as much as I think I would with people who I vibe with. But you can't hate on someone so much just based off of that?
What'd he do? He used to be a youth pastor. Some people got weird vibes, and that's fair. It's rare to see a youth pastor with good vibes. What did Wendigoon do? Honestly, a lot of it is just the vibes. I needed more. I needed to hear some real reasons why people disliked this guy. I needed real arguments.
Yeah.
I needed a living soy jack meme with a pedo mustache and bisexual lighting to string up and beat like a piñata. Enter in Praise of Shadows, aka Zane. A leftist video essayist straight out of the aging millennial hipster factory. Seriously, why do they all look like this? What genre of man is this? The mustache, the hair, the clothing, post-ironic neo-redneck? You know how some people talk about how women's taste in men gets all weird and f***ed up when they're on birth control? These are the men. I'm gonna call them birth control hot. I'm in no position to talk about style. I still do my makeup like it's 2009. Zane is a horror movie video essayist who for some reason decided to randomly go after Wendigoon and
So they both do like horror stuff? Is that what it is?
several other popular YouTubers and myself. His video starts off with him complaining that he got a lot of hate for his take about the movie Hills Have Eyes.
The hill people can be representative of anything that you want them to be, really. They can be Native Americans, and the hills themselves can be allegorical of them being forced back onto reservations.
You saw a bunch of cannibal mutants and thought of Native Americans? Anyway, he goes on to talk about how people were misrepresenting him and leaving rude comments.
The cruel and untrue things that you say about another person do in fact have direct impacts on them and the way that people culturally see them. Are these your own genuine original thoughts and criticisms?
I'm assuming he said some cruel stuff about Wendigo?
That you have based on my actual words and things that I have done, or that maybe you haven't thought critically about what you were reading online, about other people.
And about how after this video, apparently a lot of his subscribers stopped watching him, and now he's poor and can't afford rent.
There was a month last year where I only made $500 in ad revenue. I can't live off that.
Which, if you're ever at this point, you need to get a job, or at least a side job. That's capitalism meritocracy. Either make better content, or get a job. Hey, maybe if we get communism, you can be the community YouTuber. No, I'm just kidding. Your ass is going to the mines! Then finally, an hour into the video, he gets to the topic. Conservative horror movies. But
Wait, what? Bad conservative horror movies.
But then suddenly, seemingly out of nowhere, it was like he accidentally uploaded a schizophrenic meltdown.
Chapter 4 is Wendigo.
If you're not aware, Wendigoon is a horror conspiracy theorist YouTuber with
Who you're jealous of, maybe?
several million subscribers, that, as you will hopefully come to see, should not be seen as the wholesome, southern-friendly dad persona that he has publicly constructed around himself in the past several years. And that, like many people who talk about being Christians as much as he does, has a dark past with deep ties to far-right extremism.
Ooh, this sounds pretty bad. He's not the heckin' wholesome YouTube dad we all thought. What could he have possibly done?
There are many things that are red flags that we could talk about, from the bizarre gun ownership.
Yikes! An American man owns guns? Not very heckin' wholesome, Wendigoon. He goes on to talk about how Wendigoon is rich, and therefore he doesn't respect Wendigoon's opinion on media.
He became exceptionally wealthy by the time that he was 19 or 20. I have no need or desire to hear 5 hours of opinions on Blood Meridian from a 21-year-old millionaire.
Like, what exactly is the correct amount of money to have where your opinions still matter? Like, if you suddenly got a bunch of video views and a bunch of patrons like you want, would we be justified in dismissing your opinions on movies? This honestly just feels like a conservative's idea of what a leftist is. Like, it's not just about hating people for having money. Like, what is Wendigoon's position of power in relation to the means of production? Does he own a business? Does he have employees he's mistreating? Not that I know of. He's just a guy who makes YouTube videos. Like you.
Yeah, like
Only
him.
difference is he's good at it and makes money, and you're not, and you don't. Okay, for real though, there's gotta be more, right? What crimes has Wendigoon committed? Well, to start, he committed the crime of having friends.
Wendigoon is very publicly friends with Turkey Tom. They have been seen together on multiple occasions.
Who's
and
Turkey Tom? Which one?
I've seen online mentions that Tom was either at his wedding or at the very least was invited.
They have been seen together. I have seen online mentions that he was at his wedding. He's saying this shit like Turkey Tom is wanted for murder, and not like he just said some
Oh, Turkey Tom said bad things.
slurs on Discord when he was a teenager. Does this guy vet like every single person he's ever been friends with or spoken to? Hey, before you enter my house, I'm gonna have to go through your Discord history from 7 years ago. I was gonna say no, but I can see this guy doing that.
Wendigoon is publicly friends with Donut Operator, and even retweeted a photograph of the two of them hugging. Donut Operator is a gun-crazed, very far-right YouTuber with 4 million subscribers. His content is very pro-state, pro-cop, pro-gun, and pro-death to people who don't share his beliefs propaganda. For example, one of his videos is titled, "Predator Takes Shotgun to the Face."
I love the example he used is a literal pedophile being killed. He's very pro-death for people who don't share his beliefs. Take, for example, this pedophile. Is that what you mean by people who don't share his beliefs? Out of all the videos, why that one? You're not gonna find many people who are gonna be like, oh no, the poor child molester. Well, maybe you will, but most people won't. Also, he's trying to act like Donut Operator is just a complete simp for the police, and he's really not. Even in the screenshot you show in the background, there's like 3 whole videos in frame where he's clearly being critical of the police.
For someone who supposedly is so very anti-government, Wendigoon seems very comfortable with a man who makes his living worshipping violence committed by the state. And the only thing that one could reasonably gather from this picture of them hugging is that he too is a fascist bootlicker himself.
Actually, we can't reasonably gather anything because you haven't given us anything to gather. You label this guy very far right, and he might be very far right, but you haven't shown anything very far right. Like, take a step back and evaluate the bare basics of what you just showed us. Wendigoon hugging someone who thinks it's okay when a pedophile dies. Okay, but let's be fair. Maybe there's more. Maybe there's something worse. Let's see.
He is friends with Brandon Buckingham, a gun YouTuber who has been accused of threatening rape.
Okay, so first of all, let's rewind. This guy is not a gun tuber. This just proved this man did absolutely no research. I'm talking like 2 seconds going to this guy's channel amount of research. And for those who are unaware, that rape thing is a complete lie. It is a complete lie made up by, sit down, Sneeko. Sneeko made that up, and Sneeko had to apologize and admit it was a lie because it was literal slander. I just love how in his little breadtube tryout video, he uses Sneeko as a fucking source. I mean, it's not like his other sources are any better. His other sources being Reddit. He got like 90% of this information from a thread about Wendigoon in a drama subreddit called R YouTube Drama. This man like borderline plagiarized Reddit comments. Source, pee-pee-poo-poo-123 and Sneeko. Nice job on the research, you fucking hack. Also, I love the screenshot he's using. This you, bro. This you showing sympathy to someone whose grandfather is dying.
He has collaborated with Nick Crowley, who
Isn't
constantly
that what it was? Appa is home for the hospital and recovering. Oh my gosh, I just realized. So he is like saying like how like Wendigoon wrote something nice under Brendan Buckingham taking a picture with his sick grandpa and wishing them like good, well. Like, and that's the problem.
Someone whose grandfather is dying?
He has collaborated with Nick Crowley, who constantly makes money through the most morbid and shameful true crime content, of showcasing the last minutes of people before they are suddenly and unexpectedly killed.
So I don't know much about this guy, but it seems
So he doesn't pass the vibe check, and he has shown interacting with people, wishing them recovery with like for their grandpa and stuff. On like Twitter and in pictures with people who seem sus, but then even then those weren't even accurate.
seems like your issue with him is that he makes true crime content. I mean, personally, I'm not a huge fan of true crime content, but it's extremely popular on YouTube.
Crowley is similar to Wendigoon, in that on the surface they seem fairly edgy, but clean enough. But then you notice that he follows less than 200 people on Twitter, and among them are the same circle with names like Wendigoon.
Oh my gosh. He's even stalking who people are following on Twitter. Who cares?
Plagued Moth, Turkey Tom, Mr. Ballin, and Donut Operator.
On the surface, they look clean enough to pass the vibe check, but then you look closer and notice he follows people who don't pass the vibe check.
These people hate the police, and yet they're always like, sir, I'm gonna have to take a look at that Twitter follower list. Just
my
absolute
God.
cop behavior. A-cab.
Sometimes you follow, you don't like do like a whole background check when you decide to follow somebody too. And sometimes you follow someone on Twitter and then you forget that you follow someone. Not just on Twitter, but like Twitch, YouTube, everything.
Includes the follow police.
Wendigoon is publicly friends with Brandon Herrera, who has made jokes that implied that he was sympathetic with public shooters who killed leftists. I've also seen people insinuate that Herrera was with Wendigoon in the days of being part of the Boogaloo movement, but I cannot find substantial proof on if this is true or not. But I've seen several comments saying this, so online it is at least culturally believed to be true.
Hey guys, I heard Praise of Shadows a dog. No, I don't have any proof, but it's culturally believed to be true.
He is friends with Oompaville, a gun-obsessed content creator.
Oompaville! What the hell did Oompaville do? He's not even political whatsoever. I guess that's the problem, isn't it? But no, you're a bad person if you shot a gun even once. This is America. That's like saying you're a bad person if you ate a cheeseburger. His other example of Oompaville being bad is making videos about Nikocado avocado, as if anyone and their mother has not made a Nikocado avocado video. This is ridiculous. There has to be more.
He is friends with Mutahar.
Mutahar? Really? If someone can't be friends with Mutahar, they can't be friends with anyone. That dude is like so not problematic.
And has recently showcased a great deal of transphobia in his most recent video.
Oh, I remember this one. It's because of this picture that people are calling it. But then apparently the one who drew this art is their art style. They always like take anyone's photo and then they draw it in kind of like in this style. But this is his art style. People like him. It's very unique and it's like what is it, like a people see and they know who did it kind of thing, which is really, really cool for artists. I think like maybe he just like wanted this person to look bad, but it's just like, you know, not because in a like not in a transphobic way, but like just like bad in the sense like I don't like this person, so I want a bad picture of this person I don't like that's it.
Video.
Okay, nothing in Mutahar's video was transphobic at all. I don't even know why I have to entertain this. Simply talking about a trans person isn't transphobia, and I wish that we could like move past this and just treat trans people like human beings and not like these like delicate little angels that we need to like step on eggshells around. It's really weird.
Who argued against Andrew Tate being deplatformed from social media websites.
He believes in the concept of free speech for everyone. Wow. Just like the Nazis. This is what you're using to paint Mutahar as a bad person in order to paint Wendigoon as a bad person. You're running out of paint, bro.
Wendigoon is publicly connected to the Internet Historian, and has even appeared in his videos. The Internet Historian publicly said that his birthday was April 20th.
Historian, I like his videos.
Bro.
Wendigoon is publicly connected to the Internet Historian, and has even appeared in his videos. The Internet Historian publicly said that his birthday was April 20th. It is not. And has only said that as a joke because that is Hitler's birthday.
Ah yes, April 20th, Hitler's birthday. There are no other jokes surrounding the number 420.
Yeah.
It's a weed joke. It's like making a joke about the number 69. This is either extremely
yeah, like I didn't really get all the context like beforehand because I don't know those YouTubers. But like I'm starting to like recognize some of the people that he's not mentioning, and I know that they're kind of like just generalization or like this like taking it extreme, like the April 20 joke. Yeah, you can't. That's like a stupid like the 420 number joke. And it's not even that Wendigoon said it, it's just the person that he collabed with, Internet Historian, said it. And so Wendigoon gets cancelled for that joke. Continue.
Honest manipulation, saying April 20th instead of the number 420 so people wouldn't notice. Or you are profoundly mentally retarded, sir. Who the f sees a joke about 420 and automatically thinks Hitler? I'll tell you who. Somebody with preconceived notions about others. Everyone is already a bigot, so everything they say is bigoted, instead of the other way around. Looking at bigotry and coming to the conclusion that that person's a bigot. No, you have this insane hater tunnel vision, which is why you're coming to insane conclusions like this.
We could talk about the time that Nick Spheres did a video about the disturbing movie Iceberg, who is a great horror trans creator, and in the comments of her video, he said, "We will be watching your career with great interest," which is just kinda gross.
That is a line from Star Wars. You really saw him being friendly with a trans person, the trans person being friendly back, and came to the conclusion that this was transphobia?
Oh my god.
Sake, man, she ooh-wooed at him. Have you ever sat back?
She's fine with it. What is wrong with What's the beef?
And thought, hey, maybe if I have to squint my eyes and tilt my head and glue my balls to my butthole in order to paint these people as Nazis, maybe they're not Nazis?
He has interacted positively with Garant Thumb, who has said, "The traditional family should be encouraged and strengthened. I see little to no support from the government or big media."
Traditional families? Not traditional families! This is how you know this video was made for one type of person and that type of person only. Because what the are we supposed to be mad at that?
For someone who is supposedly anti-government, he sure does seem to have a lot of wealthy white friends who actively work to uphold the values of the American empire.
For someone who hates the government so much, they sure have a lot of wealthy white friends who hold up the American empire. What the f are you saying? It's like lefty Mad Libs. He's just chucking a bunch of buzzwords at the wall and seeing what sticks. Capitalism, cops, white, American empire. Again, he sounds like a conservative's idea of what a lefty would sound like. He sounds like a Daily Wire sketch character. He goes on to talk about more Twitter accounts Wendigoon follows and how some of those accounts have liked problematic tweets. Now, see, I always thought fascism was hyper-nationalistic authoritarianism, but apparently it's actually when you follow people on Twitter that Walmart Noah Samson doesn't
Twitter, like sometimes you just see like for example, like you see an art and you think it's pretty and you like the style and you follow the artist, and then like years later people find out this artist is like horrible, they did horrible things, but you don't keep track of all these people, so you're following them, and then someone finds out that you've been following them and now they want to cancel you for it. It's basically like it can even lead to that, and that's ridiculous.
He has publicly interacted in a friendly way with the account Rock Solid on multiple occasions.
Responding to someone on Twitter makes you best friends with that person. Hey, by the way, this you being friendly with YouTuber Sophie from Mars, who is allegedly an abuser, is that you, bro? Because according to your own logic, not mine, that makes you and her friends, which makes you a bad person. And personally, I'd rather be friends with people who make jokes on the internet than someone who allegedly puts cigarettes out on their girlfriend's skin. But honestly, I wouldn't hold this against him. How was he supposed to know? You throw a dart into a crowd of these people and you're bound to hit a sex pest.
He is publicly friends with Shoe0nHead, who is a conservative masquerading as a leftist, who has built a career off of lazy anti-woke content, complaining about SJWs, who says stuff like, Karl Marx rising from the grave finding out his movement has been taken over by fat, ugly, mentally ill losers.
I mean, what's crazy is I could have given you like 20 examples of way worse shit I've said over the years, but instead you choose a random joke I made on Twitter. You just went to my Twitter and found like one of the last tweets I made. This you, Wendigoon? This you, bro? Congratulating someone on their wedding day? A conservative masquerading as a leftist is so funny too, because like...
Okay, so the receipt on Wendigoon is him saying congratulations to our wedding pictures.
What? What would be the point of that? Am I waiting for like a Soros check? It would be way more lucrative as a woman on the internet to just be a conservative commentator instead of pissing off all sides like I do. Also, the term publicly friends with is so funny. He keeps saying it, and like personally, it's hilarious to me because
you have to be secretive about your friendships.
I have to be privately friends with several public figures because they are prisoners to their own audience, because their own audiences are full of people like this guy. So I have a lot of respect for people like Wendigoon who will just talk to anyone they want to and aren't scared of these cry bullies. Also, I think it's important to say Wendigoon and I talk on Twitter sometimes, but we're not like best friends. I've never even met him in real life. But because he has the audacity to tweet at me, now all my opinions are his. And as for the lazy accusation, you got me. Honestly, this all would have bothered me way more like a few years ago, but I'm so over it now. Go ahead and call me what you like. I take solace in the fact that every woke idiot that comes at me eventually...
I also think, okay, so I can understand if someone like kind of distance themselves from people that they see are like really good friends with people that you don't think are good. But I think that's just kind of like, even then you wanna kind of check on yourself, like, am I being fair, right? But then that's only for your personal choices, I think. For your own social activities, I guess, for the lack of better words, it could be affected, but you don't take it like and like make a public statement trying to cancel someone based on that.
Gets their own ass cancelled into the shadow realm, and yet I remain. problematic and a moron forever. And I personally can't wait until the inevitable day an army of skeletons comes marching out of your closet. What does bother me, however, is linking Wendigoon to me in order to smear him. My friends and I aren't a hive mind. And that might be easy for most people to understand, but not for these people. People like this guy, they don't have friends. They have enemies and they have temporary allies. They have people they hate and people they will eventually throw under the bus the second that person has a problematic tweet one day.
He has said many times publicly that he
Well,
lives in
that's a
East
trippy
Tennessee.
thing
It is
background.
about as white as you could possibly get. Deep Appalachia is very white country, and for the most part, is exceptionally racist. Genuinely in this part of the country, you have to assume that any white person you meet is racist unless they show you otherwise.
Holy shit! All white people from Appalachia are racist until proven otherwise. He's implying Wendigoon is low-key racist because of where he's from. He literally has no proof otherwise. No videos, no screen caps, nothing that shows Wendigoon being racist. But you see, he has to be. So because he's from Tennessee, he secretly must
His
be.
receipts
Making
are-
a broad negative
He doesn't have
generalization
any
about
proof.
somebody based on their race, but wokely, so it's okay. Appalachia is one of the poorest areas in the country. And aren't you a poor motherfucker too? I know you don't want to hear it, but the working class revolution is not just going to be full of the purple-haired Starbucks baristas. It's also going to be Billy Bob the truck driver from Tennessee. And you have more in common with those guys than you do the rich bread tubers that you're trying to suck the farts out of currently. So why don't you drop the smug liberal attitude and show some class solidarity, comrade?
Then, of course, there is his username. To the Algonquin people, the Wendigo is a negative spiritual symbol. He has attempted to deflect from criticism over the use of the name by saying that his grandfather was Native American. But I personally have to look at it from the hypothetical perspective, where, say I had a black or mixed grandfather in this situation, and black people were telling me that I was doing something that was racist or offensive to them. I would then listen to what they were saying instead of claiming that I had the right to do it because I had some melanin in me. Especially if I were more or less raised within a primarily white cultural area like the Appalachian Mountains are. And also on top of that, just, frequently associated myself with white supremacists.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Where was the white supremacy? You spent like 10 minutes smearing a bunch of people Wendigoon talks to, but not once did you show any white supremacy. Again, just haphazardly throwing around lefty buzzwords. White supremacy.
We could talk about his past and supposedly being a founding member in an online conspiracy theory group that, according to him, snowballed out of control into being a white supremacist neo-Nazi organization called the Boogaloo Boys. In 2020, they killed several police officers in a drive-by shooting in Oakland, hoping that black people would be blamed for the violence, in an attempt to create racial tension.
So basically, Wendigoon was part of a libertarian group that eventually became more extreme and radical over time, and he no longer agreed with the goals, so he left it and he disavowed it.
Okay.
Okay. Isn't that what you want? For him to own up to his mistakes and take accountability? You'd have a point if he was still involved in this group, or even if he was part of the group while the group was doing all these terrible things, but he
Good thing
wasn't.
you laughed.
It's so funny he had to add this completely made-up factoid that the Boogaloos killed cops in order to blame it on black people, but I couldn't find that literally anywhere. In fact, I found the exact opposite. The Boogaloo Boys made sure people knew it was done by them. And it
Wait, what? Carol apparently used his own blood to write messages on the hood of the hijacked car. The complaint said it identified the writing as Boog. I became unreasonable. I am so confused. What happened?
boys made sure people knew
Write messages with his own blood.
it was done by them. And it wasn't to spark a race war, it was to spark more anti-government sentiment. The Boogaloo Boys are a radical libertarian group. They hate cops. So I think this guy made up this thing about them wanting to blame black people, so people in his audience wouldn't think the Boogaloo Boys were cool. Yeah, they killed cops, but not in the based cool way we want to kill cops. This is probably the most damning evidence they have against Wendigoon, even though he's not involved in this group anymore.
So he found something that Wendigoon was a group Wendigoon was part of in the past. And they did this thing, but Wendigoon wasn't part of it, but Wendigoon is getting blamed for this group's actions that he wasn't part of at the time of the act.
But they still it up. Zayn was liking tweets from people, glazing him, telling him what an amazing job he was doing for finally going after Wendigoon, our glorious Reddit white knight, basking in the attention and glory of finally slaying the bad vibes dragon. All while Wendigoon left a nice comment on the guy's video.
Please, no one harass or comment rude things on my behalf. Aww. I do not agree or condone meanness in any way. If you are here to leave a spiteful remark on my behalf, nothing good comes from anger. I want to apologize for people saying awful things to you on Twitter. I did not know this was happening and don't stand by that behavior. I followed you because I saw your Slender Man video and enjoyed it. Oh, then saw you in my recommendation follows. It sounds like you strongly dislike me and that's okay. And if I have done anything to cause that, I apologize. You sound so nice, what the heck? If I ever spoke against you without cause or made any jokes at your expense, I'm sorry. I did not follow you to harass you, but if that contributed in any way, I wish I could take it back. You don't have to like me, but I hope you do not feel I have ill will against you. Yeah, sometimes people just don't like each other and you just don't gotta interact. And that doesn't have to be like a spiteful thing. There is a lot you assumed incorrectly about me, but that's to be expected. I try to keep my life private in what ways I can, and my friends mentioned in the video can take up for themselves. I will only point out that your assertion about Brandon Bucking is particularly egregious because the lie regarding a threat was made up by Sneeko when Brandon called him out on his behavior. I know you wouldn't support an internet figure like Sneeko, but you would inadvertently did by not checking the source. I've made similar mistakes most YouTubers have at one point or another, but harmful allegations spread when people parrot rather than decipher data. I have said things in the past that I do not agree with now, and am learning to better myself daily, and each day find myself more in the wrong. I am sorry for the things I've said to bring hurt or strife onto any person or people. May God forgive me. I hope you're successful. The Slenderman video was great, and I hope you don't find myself or my audience impeding your career. And if you're here to leave a mean comment for me, don't be.
Telling people not to be mean to this guy. Well, that sign won't stop me because I can't read. One comment I found on this guy's video was like, loving the Wendigoon fanboys trying to deny that he's conservative. He'll get away with it because he's popular though. He'll get away with it. Get away with what?
But okay, also, why does Wendigoon's opinion on politics matter so much when his content he doesn't make it about it? Like, it's not about him like taking a side or anything. He's just like, he has a whole like different genre and that's what it is about. You know? Then like if he's not voicing his like stance and that's not what his content's about, why is that the focus? Why like make assumptions and use that as a reason to try to cancel him?
Crime of being popular online while not agreeing with you politically? Is that what this expose is about? Wendigoon exposed, not a communist. Nobody gives a shit.
So what if he's a conservative? Is that a problem? Which the answer to that is yes. But the reason that I care is because this does not belong in horror or anywhere. I care deeply about horror, and everything that he does has demonstrated so far in his career that he should not be welcomed in our spaces, or even, just in public in general.
What? Okay. First of all, I assure you nobody wants to be in your space, bro. Imagine the smell. But second of all, in public? Wendigoon should not be allowed in public spaces. Wendigoon should not be allowed to exist in society because he is Twitter friends with people this guy disagrees with on Twitter.
Should not be accepted within society at all. They should not be celebrated. They should be treated for what they are. Because remember, kids, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them.
Well, you've told us you're a lying, manipulative hack, and I believe you. But Wendigoon's actions, words, and even comments he left on your video tell us he's a good person. You're so lost in the sauce, you don't even realize all you did to the average viewer was make this guy seem like a kind person who learns and grows from his
Wendigo
mistakes.
sounds
These flimsy
nice.
accusations and guilt by associations may work for the NPCs in your audience who already hated Wendigoon based on vibes, but you need to bring more to the table than unsourced Reddit comments. If you're trying to convince the average person who isn't terminally online that this guy deserves to be ostracized from society. The fact is, most people have friends they don't politically agree with. Most people make edgy jokes. Many people are into guns. Many support the police. And most enjoy when pedophiles die. These things you listed as like crimes Wendigoon's friends have done in order to smear Wendigoon do not make them fascists or Nazis. They make them normal people. At the end of the day, this was just a witch hunt against a normal guy. But to these people,
I get the title now, why it's called that.
that is the enemy. The normal guy. They can dress it up however they want, but at the end of the day, that's what this video was. An attack on normal guys. And it's always been a war on normal guys. But hey, I'm glad you deleted the video. Hopefully you learned from this, but according to your Discord messages,
Yeah, nobody in the video has actually refuted any of what I said. They only point out small individual things that are wrong, but don't actually go so far as to say that what I said wasn't right.
who haven't. Anyway, that was that video. I just really wanted to stick up for someone who absolutely did not deserve all the hate. Thank you again to everyone who donates to me on Patreon. You help so much. And I will see you all real soon with a new video.
I think Wendigoon's is too nice to say all these things and point it out, so she just did it for him, and she didn't do it in a hateful way, so it wasn't against his wishes, I think. But yeah, sometimes like when someone doesn't like you, they'll literally find all the ways to not like you. But yeah, silly of him to use all those stuff to try to cancel someone is ridiculous. I actually do remember people mentioning Wendigoon under my incognito or internet historian video reacts, saying like, yeah, Wendigoon, I think someone did mention his name.
Hello, police? Someone called me a faggot on the internet.
Anyway, thank you for watching with me. I will come back with another video. Until then, take care. Bye bye.